Step into a world of faith and enlightenment with Path of Faith, where we explore the challenges and triumphs of the human spirit through the lens of religious teachings and divine guidance.
Father, I ask for a direction because I have a hard time accepting the death of a niece. She was murdered with great cruelty. The reason for the murder was envy. He was murdered by a woman who is currently arrested and will even be judged. But I can't forgive, priest. What do I do? It is as if my soul lived crying. Losing someone is always very difficult, isn't it? Human process, no matter how much we know that people go away, it is always difficult. Even when we have a loved one at home who has been sick for a long time, when it is natural that we suffer. Losing is very painful, and losing tragically is even more painful, because it is a death that we interpret as outside the plumb, out of time. It is one thing to be charmed, suffering, victim of these diseases that are proper to life, death, normative process of an aged organism that has lost its health, and that will fade as everything that is created reality. Another thing is that you see a good person with life, health, to be brutally murdered by someone. So you have a process of loss to organize and still have a very painful situation that is having to carry within you. All the time is as if you are bringing in your heart a burden that is, my God, my niece could be here and not being. Because someone has removed it, is called hatred. There is no other name. The burden we take, that you have to organize mourning, and still have to organize mourning, and still have to organize. So you suffer doubly, because it's impressive, my people, like hatred. This inadequacy that exists, because hatred is an inadequacy, a kind of puts you out of your place. It's not natural for us to hate. It is not a natural human process for you to live within hatred. When you find out you sleep hating, wake up hating, because that person has done you a harm. The process of forgiving here is absolutely necessary for the mourning to be organized. How does this happen? There is no magic recipe, right? But you already give indications that you are already on the right track. Believe in the possibility of forgiveness, which you say yourself. I need to forgive. Are you already saying seeking a support of faith with the priest of your parish? And now let's wait for time to send you to this reconciliation with life. It is very noble to know how to forgive. It is very noble for us to see someone who had a great ease. It's beautiful for us to see, but when you need to live is another story. So there is no judgment right now. What we need is to allow first, to have this conscience that it is not certain what you feel, because sometimes the person is in hatred, feeds that hatred all the time and cannot identify it as something that is wrong. Because look at that who lost, looks at the tragicity of the event, and is justified in the hatred that feels. And justified hatred finds even more roots to grow inside us. Because if you find someone who looks at what you are hating and speaks, but my God, you have no reason to hate. But in this case, it is natural for us to find a lot of people who give our hatred right. Oh, I would in your place hate too, because you took the life of your niece. Do we know all this? All these reasons? They fit in a reasoning? Logical. Someone withdrew who I love. Someone brutally killed the person I love. And I find rational motives for this hatred. The others even give me reason for what I am hating. But there, my people. We need to make a conscience that hatred is also a kind of murder. Just as I can kill the other with my hatred, just as I can use my hatred as an instrument of death in the other's life. And we know this is true. When someone hates us, and white ends up living this hatred very closely, this hatred can kill us. Yes, he goes to us the joy. The person articulates evils to us who make our lives very difficult. Hate kills? Yes, it makes life difficult. Now we can also live a kind of slow suicide. I'm slowly killing myself with hatred that I feel. And I've seen a lot of people die of anger. The expression, wow, I almost died of hate today. I almost anger I died. This is true, my people. This is not a metaphor. No. If we do not manage the bad feeling, anger, aggressiveness, we weaken our health. We put within us a daily dose of poison. And that's why it's a very wise attitude, forgive. Because forgiveness is nothing less than stopping distilling hatred, the poison that kills you. It's like quitting smoking. The cigarette plays into the body. I don't know how many millions of toxins, toxic, highly carcinogenic substances, evil to human life. And the person, why are you addicted? What is addiction? Inability, addiction. When our brain is used to that chemical, we lose our ability to decide. So we look at the cigarette has this size. We can't say no to that cigarette because there is a chemical dependence on that blessed cigarette. A little thing that dominates me. Hate is the same thing. Hate also causes a chemical reaction within us with which we get used to it. And the result of all this is highly harmful to us. This is why forgiveness breaks the power of domination. In the same way as a person who stops smoking, he again assumes freedom in the cigarette and saying, "Two, won't smoke you, because I know you hurt me." Alcohol is the same thing. It's funny, people who work with drug addicts, with alcoholics, for example, because it is socialized addictions that cause this difficulty, which cause greater difficulty in recognizing her dependence. Because you drink socially, you use these expressions, you go to a party, you drink, you are with your friends, you drink if you have a joy, you want to celebrate that. You will drink if you have a sadness. You also went to drink because you're sad, then you have 1,000. People who work with addicted people say the great difficulty is that the addicts assume what they are, because it is the first step for liberation. You have the courage to say that you have lost your ability to decide. Hate does the same thing with us. How many times do you find veiled people watching the hatred you feel? Imagine, I have nothing. I don't feel anything for her anymore. It doesn't bother me anymore. It's a lie. Deep down, you have a big challenge before you. First, look at your niece's death. Organize this event within you as something you can no longer change. Have a relationship with your now different niece. The love you feel for her. The life she can no longer live. It is that family who has lost a traffic, murdered in traffic, for example, and then will fight to establish campaigns to punish those who drunk. They are resurrection movements. I don't want your son to die the same way my son died. So I will fight for the one who drinks and who commits an accident because of drunkenness, that he is severely punished, that he is no longer unpunished, that this country is a shame, my people. There are many free killers walking, living normally, as if nothing had happened, because one day they were drunk, took their cars, and killed others that were there. Living correctly, seeking a child at school or coming home after a meeting, after a day at work, and the killer gets free. So there are a lot of people who raise their children like that. I will now seek a way to prevent other people from dying as my son died. So the reaction you need to have now is to resurrect your niece from your positive feelings, the love you have for her, and to do something that really makes the life she has lived. And at the same time, give a meaning to this tragic death, that it interrupted the life it could be living. And the hatred, my daughter, you asking God to remove this weight from you, that you pray that your heart will be occupied again by love. Volunteer work helps a lot of people who lost people here at us. Voluntary work that puts you in contact with needy children, with old needy, so many elderly today in Brazil forgotten in nursing homes. A visit that we make to these people fill our hearts with meaning. What we can't do is that, often because of the tragedy we are living, we close inside our homes and we don't see the world anymore. We think our sadness is the worst of all and that there is nothing more to do but suffer. That's not fair. When we do this, we allow hatred to grow. Because the teachings will make it difficult. It will prevent this healing of the heart that is so necessary. Hate is so harmful to us, and we can sometimes feed it so unconsciously. We look at this story with a lot of respect, and we who do not have these serious reasons who so often make our hearts a place of hurt, resentment, cultivation of small hatred. May God bless you a lot in your struggle, that you don't give up, see? His process, he is hurt, he is so very difficult. We know that it is very painful to lose someone, and it is even worse to lose someone like that. Tragically unfair. Right. How you lost your niece. May God take care of your heart, and may you soon be well, overcoming the difficulties that this.
It's been a pleasure having you with us on Path of Faith. We value your feedback, so please share your thoughts in the comments, give us a thumbs up, share this video with others, and hit the subscribe button to stay connected with us.